Now, before you run immediately to the comments to shut this down, just know that this trade rumor is coming directly from Sports Illustrated, not NBA Central. It is slightly complicated though, so hear me out before you decide one way or another, please. Obviously, trading Bradley Beal this offseason is not going to be easy for Phoenix. If the Suns are able to do so without having to attach real assets such as first-round pick or, God forbid, Ryan Dunn, it will be considered a major W. No one is expecting the Suns to gain anything other than getting off of Beal's enormous contract with its insufferable no-trade clause. But this SI article proposes what I would consider to be kind of a sweetheart deal for the Suns. And to show that I'm nothing if not reasonable, I'll actually be willing to rework this deal so that it's even more favorable for the Bucks just to get it done. First, allow me to set the stage. Bradley Beal must go. I'm sure you all have your own personal breaking points with him, but for me, and I think potentially the ownership's breaking point with Beal, was when he became Steph Curry's greatest hype man mid-game after getting a three drilled in his face. And this was in a game that the Suns needed to win. John Gambadoro has reported essentially that Beal is gone come hell or high water, no matter what.
Whatever it takes.
If the Suns want to do this in the most advantageous way possible, they need a trade partner. They need to trade for a player or players that make close to the $53.6 million that Beal makes a year, which is going up to $57.1 in 2026. And because of how distasteful Beal's contract is to Phoenix, the other team is not going to want to give up any of their future assets. But more likely, they're going to want to offload something that they view as not very valuable or less valuable. And that's a very tight needle to thread. Some might say an impossible one. I mean, how can both teams come out of this happy, the Bucks and Suns? Now add Damian Lillard into the picture, who's been recovering from an Achilles tear that he suffered in the first round of this year's playoffs. Bottom line, I think Beal is actually more valuable to the Bucks, who would have been an option for him when the Wizards originally decided to move him to a competitor. He thought he was going to Milwaukee or Miami. That is, if the Suns didn't greedily step in and snag him away, stupidly, in retrospect. Quick disclaimer, this SI trade shows the Suns getting a 2031 first and second round pick, and I don't even think that the first is necessary. Like I was saying, I'd do this deal just with the second round pick if need be, because I actually see this working well both ways, and I'd want to get it done. And I don't think that the Bucks would offer a first up with Lillard. Bradley Beal, refocused with a fresh start on a team where he's not necessarily the third option or in a bench role, could easily average 20 to 25 points per game. And I don't at all believe, like this article lightly suggests, that Beal might be enough to appease Giannis and convince him to stay. I don't think it's enough, but it could be a step forward compared to Dame, his current running mate that needs all season likely to recover and won't be there in the immediate future. On to the Suns' motivations for this. Like I said already, getting rid of Beal is priority numero uno this offseason. But furthermore, ask yourself, and maybe you'll disagree with me, that's fine, but I'd personally rather wait for Dame to heal and potentially finish out his career as Book's backcourt mate than any of the other options it could likely take to get rid of Beal. Beal gets injured so often that I don't even know how noticeably different it would be. Dame likely will miss the entire 25-26 season, and yet still, that's preferable to me than keeping Beal another year. Tell me if you agree with that in the comments. The way I see it, Suns have to finally accept reality, which is that their championship window is basically slammed shut. Their new timeline will be closer to 2 to 5 years if we're lucky, and Dame healing and returning then fits that timeline. Also, I'd like to point out that when Dame gets healthy, he would be a lot easier to trade than Beal's contract. So you could let him heal, and in a year, play him, Unless you've already traded for some other point guard or drafted a point guard and you feel like you have that position filled, trade him. It'd be a lot easier to trade a newly healthy Dame than Bradley Beal in this situation. Hit the like for me and tell me what you guys think in the comments. Thank you for hanging out, and we'll see you guys in the next playoff live stream.